Hey, it's Monday, the 2nd War in Vietnam, in the city of Saigon, now called Ho Chi Minh City after the end of the Vietnam War. Very first thing we did was tour the city on the bus and then take a rickshaw ride, which I published the rickshaw ride as a separate video because it was so interesting. Then we headed to this Buddhist temple, which I didn't get the year, but it's a very old temple, hundreds of years old. And we just did a quick walkthrough. I sped the video up a little bit so that it wouldn't be quite so long. Those pink things on the side are records of donors who donated something recently to the temple. Then there's a lot of incense burning. All those little brown things you can see hanging from the ceiling that are kind of spiral. Those are also incense. Imagine there's no mosquitoes around. All the incense burning there. Anyway, people go kneel on those pads and pray up there in the front. A lot of artwork up on the roof on the sides. Fancy carved artwork. And one of the interesting things we did next was at the end of the Vietnam War. This is an iconic photo from the end of the war showing the helicopters picking up people off the top of what was a CIA headquarters slash office slash apartment building. And they couldn't get them all out. uh, but we were able to go up to this building, and it's owned by the Vietnamese Communist government at the moment. But our guide had some connection with the guy who provides security for the building, so we were able to actually go up in this building ourselves and see. So you notice the doors and the louvers and everything. You'll see that same thing 49 years later as we went up in that building and we're able to see that location. So yeah, I think he slipped some money to that security guard there. And then this is the new elevator, there's 8 of us in the group. Half of us went up the new elevator. In that doorway that you can see right behind in the middle was the entrance to the old elevator that was actually there 49 years ago. It's one of the old kind with a screen door that you have to shut. Anyway, so we split into 2 groups. Four of us went up the new elevator. 4 went up the old elevator, and then we reversed that when we came down, so we all got a chance to ride in the original elevator. Uh, you'll notice when we get to the top, we weren't sure at the time if we were in the actual building where that top picture was taken, or if we were in an adjacent building that was going to look at the original ones. And we didn't find out until we got up to the top that we're actually in that building and we could go up to that to the ladder and whatnot. This is the top. It used to be a restaurant bar kind of a thing. It's not in very good shape now. I imagine it's just been sitting for the last 50 years. Anyway, we still hadn't figured out that we're in the real building. We're looking around trying to figure out where we were because the guide had not come up the other elevator yet. That tall building you see on the right wasn't there during the war. It's been built since. So then the guide called us over to the stairway over on the far side. And it wasn't until we went up this small stairway here that we realized that we were in the actual location of where that helicopter pickup was taking place. So there's that rooftop structure with the door, the louvers, the steps going up to that door. So over on the far right-hand side was where the ladder came from. that the people were walking up, and the helicopter landed right on top of that building. So the guide was showing us where the picture originally was taken from back at the end of the war, not from the tall building next door because it wasn't there. And he actually told us that was the actual ladder that the people were climbing up. But when you compare the original photo, it's not, because the actual ladder had a handrail on it and it went down to that lower level where we were walking when we originally came up. But anyway, we all decided we're gonna take a picture of ourselves going up the ladder. I mean, the Vietnam War was a tragedy in many ways. Fought to try and prevent the spread of communism in Asia. Uh, we lost 58,000 souls, and there were probably another 100,000 wounded on the U.S. side. And the Vietnamese side, they probably lost 1.5 million people. And obviously, it didn't end up the way the U.S. wanted to, but we can never forget those 58,000 and the other wounded and the missing in action folks that we lost during that conflict. So we're grateful for the service of all those veterans who served in Vietnam.